Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Darren Parra. This is going to be my kinesiology 4953 strength and conditioning video assignment number 1. This workout has a warm-up segment, a main program segment, and a cool-down segment. The warm-up segment and cool-down segments will last 10 minutes apiece. Here we go. For our first warm-up segment, we're going to be doing shoulder circles, alternating forward and backwards for 2 minutes. We're going to be going forward for 1 minute and then backwards. These shoulder circles are good for loosening up the synovial fluid in the shoulder joints, warming the shoulders up. As you can see, we're starting off going backwards. Here at about the 1 minute mark, we will be going forwards. And we're just going to repeat this process for 2 minutes total. Our next warm-up exercise is going to be torso rotations, and we're going to be doing those for a total of 2 minutes. We want to make sure we keep a nice, constant, even speed. As you can see, these torso rotations are good for not stretching the upper torso, upper trunk area, but also a little bit of hip mobility as well. I'm turning my hips with this exercise. And as we near the 1 minute mark, you can see that I actually extend my arms like this to get a little bit more torso rotation out of that, a little bit more stretch, get some arm extension as well as a little bit more shoulder, I guess, external, internal rotation, added benefit. Our next warm-up exercise is going to be the standing tricep stretch, 1 minute on each arm for a total of 2 minutes. What we want to do is place our arm above our head and pull towards the contralateral side of our body, really stretching out that hamstring. We're going to hold that stretch for about a minute. At the end of 1 minute, we're going to switch to the other arm. So really start feeling a stretch by about 10 seconds in. Now we're going to move into our specific exercises. First exercise is going to be alternating lunges, and we're going to be doing these for a total of 2 minutes. Alternating lunges are a great exercise for hip, quadriceps, as well as hamstring mobility. We're going to be doing a lot of squatting later on, so it's good to kind of open up all of this, get these muscles nice and warm as we continue this exercise. The next specific exercise is going to be jumping jacks. It's an exercise that needs no explanation. We've all done them before. We're going to be doing this for a total of 2 minutes, non-stop, keeping a nice constant speed. Jumping jacks are an excellent exercise for getting our heart rate up, cardiac output, getting the blood circulating through all of our upper and lower extremities, muscles. We want to make sure to breathe and keep a nice constant speed. Our last specific exercise is going to be pull squats, and we're going to be doing these for 2 minutes as well. As you want to see, we want to get our stance in a nice squat position, squatting down, hinging at the hips, keeping a nice constant speed up and down. This exercise is good for hip flexion as well as knee flexion. As I stated earlier, we're going to be doing a lot of squatting here in a few minutes. It's good to get the quads fired up. Make sure to breathe on this exercise as well. It is now time to move into our main program segment. This segment is designed around 6 exercise modalities with an upper body and a lower body exercise per modality. Modality 1 is going to be free weights. Our first upper body exercise is going to be dumbbell biceps flexion. We're going to be doing 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Personally, when I do a biceps flexion, I like to make sure that my triceps are extended at the bottom of the movement or the eccentric, and I'm squeezing my biceps at the top at the concentric portion. When it comes to breathing, I like to exhale as I'm going up or as I'm contracting, and inhale as I'm going down. Now we'll move on to our second set. Keep a nice upright position. Keep our core tight. Standing up straight. Make sure to breathe. And moving on to our third and final set. 12 repetitions. Squeezing the biceps at the top. Controlling on the way down. Our next exercise is going to be dumbbell hammer flexion. We're going to be using a lateral grip, doing 3 sets by 12 repetitions. Similar to biceps flexion with the supinated grip, the lateral grip is where our hands are down by our sides. The backs of our hands are facing outwards. We are flexing the biceps in a similar position, keeping the triceps extended at the bottom, and contracting the biceps at the top of flexion. As always, to make this exercise a little bit harder, you can always increase the weight, but make sure to control the weight the whole time. If the weight is too heavy, use a little bit of momentum. And here's our third set. Our next exercise is going to be incline dumbbell flexion with a supinated grip, 3 sets to failure. By now, our biceps should be pretty sore and warmed up. As you can see, I'm sitting on an incline. I am letting my triceps extend at the bottom, flexing at the top. We shouldn't be able to do too many of these. We should already be pretty fatigued after the previous 2. We want to make sure proper form would be to keep your head back on the pad, not flexing your neck like I am. Sure to breathe just the same as you did with standing flexion and hammer flexion. Exhale as you're going up, inhale as you're going down. Here's our second set to failure. Our next lower body exercise is going to be the free weight squat. We're going to be doing dumbbell goblet squats, 4 sets, 12 repetitions. Here's me setting up our first set. Want to have correct squat position. Feet inside shoulder width or shoulder width apart. Want to do a hip hinge just like we would a normal squat, as well as knee flexion. They should be moving at the same time, keeping the goblet or the dumbbell close to our chest and our shoulders retracted. Make sure to breathe with this exercise. I take about 30 seconds of rest in between set 2 and set 3. It's always good to give your body a rest real quick, regain your breath. And this will be our last set of 12 repetitions for goblet squats. Our next exercise is going to be the dumbbell shoulder squat. We're going to be using a lateral grip, doing 2 sets, 15 repetitions. Similar to the goblet squat, I'm in correct squat position. As you can see, my knees are following the line of my toes are making. I'm sitting back like in a chair. My hips are hinging and my knees are flexing at the same time. My back is upright. Kind of have the dumbbells up by my shoulders using a lateral grip. This is our second set of 15. Make sure to breathe with this exercise. Next dumbbell exercise, we have the dumbbell sumo squat. We're going to be doing 2 sets for 10 repetitions. Proper position for the sumo squat, as you can see, I have a wide leg stance. And I'm dropping the dumbbell right in between my legs, going down about 90 degrees hip flexion. Another thing that you can do is externally rotate your knees so they are in line with your toes. Drop down to about 90 degrees. Take a little bit of a rest in between. Get ready for our second set. Our next exercise modality is going to be cables. First up, we have the latissimus dorsi pull down with a wide grip, which would be pronated. We're going to be doing 12 repetitions. Proper form on this exercise is to keep our back straight, pulling right down to the top of our chest. Exhaling as we get to our chest, inhaling as we go up. just doing 12 repetitions. Our next exercise is going to be the underhand latissimus dorsi pull down. We're going to be using a supinated grip, doing 12 repetitions as well. Proper form on this exercise would be, again, to keep your back straight, don't overextend it, and keep your elbows tucked in by your sides. Feeling a nice good stretch in the latissimus dorsi, pulling straight down to the top of your chest. And our last exercise is going to be the close grip latissimus dorsi pull down. This would be a lateral grip, doing 12 repetitions as well. Same rules apply, keeping your back straight, keeping your elbows in. Breathing as you go, exhaling as you go down, inhaling as you go up. 12 repetitions. For our lower body exercise with the cables, we're going to be doing cable hip abduction. We're going to be doing 2 sets, 12 repetitions each leg. Proper form for this exercise would be to stand up nice and tall. And since we are abducting the hip, we are kicking away from the hip. Whichever leg we choose, we'll hook the cable around the ankle, and we are moving our leg away from the contralateral leg, abducting the hip. Standing up nice and tall, 12 repetitions. I take about a 30-second break in between here. Fix the strap if you need to. If your balance is good, you can stand upright and try it. If you need a little bit of help and stability, you can lean on the machine. Here's our second set of 12. And we're going to be switching legs. Our next exercise is going to be cable hip adduction, 2 sets, 12 repetitions each leg. When we're talking about hip adduction or adduction, our leg is moving towards our hip or towards the inside of our body. So this would be the opposite of abduction, away. This would be towards. So I sit up away from the machine, my outside leg has the cable, and I'm bringing my leg in towards me. A little bit harder exercise to maintain stability. 12 repetitions. Standing nice and tall, trying to really focus on bouncing on that right foot because you kind of have to. The weight should be pretty small. As you can see, I switch legs here. Our next exercise is going to be the cable donkey kick, or hip extension. We're going to be doing 2 sets, 12 repetitions. The proper form for this exercise, the cable, whichever leg you choose, the cable will be around your ankle, and we're going to be kicking back with a little bit of knee flexion. We want to make sure that we keep a straight back. We don't want to flex our back, don't want to extend our back. We could squeeze our core to keep our back straight. A little bit of a tricky exercise balance-wise as well. We want to make sure that we are just kicking straight back though. As you can see, my strap kind of slid up my calf a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to be doing 12 repetitions, 2 sets. A little bit of a break in between. We will now move into our third modality, which is going to be machines. Starting off, we have the seated tricep extension, 3 sets for 12 repetitions. As you can see, I'm seated in this machine. It provides stability with a back support as well. Proper form for this exercise would be extending and squeezing the triceps. As you extend, really control it as you come back. Make sure to breathe on this exercise as well. Our next exercise will be the seated triceps pushdowns, 3 sets, 12 repetitions as well. As we're seating down, and this time we're going to be pushing down into the floor, keeping our elbows close together, extending and squeezing the triceps as we push down. Our back should be flat against the pad, butt should be in the corner pad as well, feet should be on the ground. Really focus on squeezing the triceps as you push down. Our third tricep exercise will be the triceps overhead extension. 3 sets, 12 repetitions. As you can see, this machine will be seated as you'll be grabbing the handles and you'll be extending your arms over your head, keeping your elbows towards you as well. Don't let them flare out too much. I let them flare out a little bit, but same as the past 2 exercises, we want to really emphasize squeezing our triceps as we extend our arms, keeping your back flat against the pad. Remember to breathe. For the lower body, we're going to be doing the seated hamstring flexion, 3 sets, 12 repetitions. This machine allows us to sit down while flexing the hamstrings, starting off with our legs extended and then curling them down, flexing them, getting a nice good contraction in our hamstrings. 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Make sure your back is flat against the pad. Make sure your butt is not coming off the butt pad, and that support that goes above your knees is very tight. This machine offers stability. It allows you to really squeeze your hamstrings at the top. Here is our second set. Our second machine exercise is going to be the machine isolated hamstring flexion, 3 sets, 12 repetitions. This machine allows us to isolate one leg from the other. As you can see, we place one leg, the other leg is not doing anything. It's just hanging there. As you can see, we are contracting the weight towards us, squeezing the hamstrings. Proper form on this machine, you have to be very careful to make sure that your back is not extended. It's probably better to flex your back with the pad that your arms rest upon, so you're not extending your back while performing this exercise. We're switching legs now. Really want to focus on squeezing at the top. A way to make this exercise more difficult is to obviously add weight, and you can actually have a longer eccentric portion. So you would contract the hamstring and focus on really slowly lowering the weight down. 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Our last exercise for machine hamstrings is going to be the prone hamstring flexion, 3 sets, 12 repetitions. This time, this machine allows us to be in the prone position, face down. Same rules apply though. We are still contracting our hamstrings at the top, slowly lowering in the eccentric, getting a nice good stretch, and then contracting at the top. Proper form for this machine. Another one, make sure that your back is not extended. Really kind of pull yourself into the pad, flex your back a little bit so your back does not extend at the top when you're curling your hamstrings. 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Making this exercise harder would allow us to raise the weight to what we can control. You can also do this exercise single leg. The fourth exercise modality is going to be kettlebells. Our exercise is going to be the front shoulder raise, 3 sets, 12 repetitions. So you can see I have my kettlebells in hand, standing up nice and tall. Imagine that you are pushing the kettlebells away from you as you raise up. That allows the shoulder to travel in the right anatomical way. 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Choose a weight that's comfortable for you so you're not having to use momentum and swing the weight up. Want to nice and control it on the way up and on the way down. Here's our second set. Next exercise will be the kettlebell lateral raise, 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Proper form for this exercise is standing up nice and tall, and now our arms are going to abduct away from the body while holding the kettlebells, raising them up, making a T. Really controlling this weight. You want to pick a weight that's comfortable for you so you do not, again, have to swing the weight up. You want to control the weight up and on the way back down. Our last kettlebell exercise is going to be the kettlebell shoulder press, 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Proper form for this exercise would be standing up nice and tall. You can squeeze your abs to keep your core tight so your back stays straight, and we're pressing above our head. The kettlebells will actually rest on the back of our hands. And we want to demonstrate full range of motion with the kettlebells stopping right at our shoulders and then pressing back up. 3 sets, 12 repetitions. Now for our lower body kettlebell exercises, we're going to be doing a single kettlebell deadlift, 2 sets, 20 repetitions. As you can see, my grip on the kettlebell is a pronated grip. You can see the backs of my hands. I'm keeping my back straight as I go down, bending at the knees, hinging at the hips as well, almost touching the kettlebell to the mat, while keeping my chest up, just like you would as with a deadlift, shoulders retracted, 20 repetitions. Continuing on with our second exercise, we have the kettlebell deadlift with the lateral grip for 2 sets, 20 repetitions. We want to set up in proper deadlift form, keeping our heels planted, hinging at the hips and at the knees, keeping our chest up, back straight. A little bit of shoulder retraction, as you can see. My lateral grip, the backs of my hands are facing away from me, and I am just squatting down, back up, making sure to breathe, squeezing the glutes. 2 sets, 20 repetitions. Our last kettlebell exercise is going to be the single kettlebell Romanian deadlift, 2 sets, 20 repetitions. This is an interesting exercise. It allows us to isolate the hamstrings while holding a kettlebell as well. As you can see, we go onto one leg, our back leg comes back, and we kind of level out, keeping your chest up, back straight. Fortunately, I don't have the best balance. 2 sets, 20 repetitions on each leg. Exercise modality 5 will be exercises performed with a physio ball, upper and lower body. Our first upper body exercise will be an ab crunch. We're going to be doing physio ball rollouts, 20 repetitions out on the physio ball, keeping my knees planted. as I roll forward. Keeping your core tight is essential on this exercise. That's where you're going to feel Our next lower body exercise is going to be a physio ball jackknife. We're just going to do 12 repetitions of these. Proper form for this exercise, we're going to place both our feet on top of the ball, bringing our knees to our stomach, keeping our back straight. This is a tough exercise. Make sure to breathe with this exercise, just doing 12 repetitions. Our last upper body physio ball exercise is going to be the ab crunch, 2 sets of 12 repetitions. We're going to be doing this in the supine position. We'll be laying on our back. Back will be flat against the mat, and we are bringing the ball and touching our toes. Squeezing our core as we go up to the top, getting our shoulders off the mat. Perfect. Two sets, 12 repetitions. Ball split squats. On the lower body exercises with the physio ball, we're going to be doing physio ball split squats. 2 sets, 12 repetitions on each leg. Very similar to normal split squats. As you can see, I have while the other I am. This is a little bit of a tricky exercise. And tall. 'Our second exercise is going to be the physio ball lateral squat. 2 sets, 12 repetitions on each leg. Similar to the split squat, this time we're going to be facing this ball. The physio ball will be to our side. We're going to be placing one leg on top of the physio ball while bending the knee with the leg that's planted on the ground. Doesn't have to bend too much. This is a very tricky exercise. We should feel this in our glutes. Being very careful to stay upright. 12 repetitions. We're going to be switching legs now. Two sets, 12 repetitions. Our final lower body exercise will be the physio ball hip hike. 2 sets, 20 repetitions on each side. The hip hike is an interesting exercise. What we're going to be doing is placing the ball on the wall, sending your hips into the ball while thinking about lifting the ball towards the ceiling. That'll allow your hip to travel upward, allowing our hip to abduct. Standing nice and upright, 20 reps each leg. We'll be using our own body weight. We're going to be doing upper body and lower body. Starting off with upper body, we're going to be doing a diamond push-up, 5 repetitions. This is a tricky exercise. Proper form for this exercise would be to squeeze your glutes, keep your back straight, make your hands into a diamond, keeping your elbows tucked. We don't want our elbows to flare out. Really emphasize keeping our back straight. Next exercise will be a wide grip push-up or normal push-up, 20 repetitions. Proper form with this exercise again is keeping our glutes nice and tight, our back straight. We don't want our elbows to flare out too far. We want to keep them nice and in. Just lowering down and pressing up, touching your chest to the floor. Reposition if you need to. And our last upper body weight exercise is going to be an incline push-up. For the incline push-up, we'll have to have our feet elevated by some sort of box or incline push-up. For the incline push-up, we'll have to have our feet elevated by some sort of box or table, and our body will be at a slight incline, but applies, keeping the glutes nice and tight, keeping our back straight, elbows not flared out too far. 20 repetitions. Our lower body exercise is going to be the glute bridge, the body weight glute bridge, and we're going to be doing 20 repetitions. Proper form for the glute bridge would be to start by laying in supine position, knees bent, bring your heels all the way as close as you can to your glutes, and you're actually going to be pressing through your heels, squeezing your glutes as you go up, making sure not to extend your back too much, keeping your arms flat on the pad. 20 repetitions. Really squeeze your glutes at the top of this exercise. Our next exercise will be the single leg glute bridge. We're doing 2 sets, 10 repetitions per leg. Glute bridge, we're doing 2 sets, 10 repetitions. That's 10 repetitions per leg. Same thing as a regular glute bridge. We're going to be squeezing Our glutes at the top. This time we're keeping single leg glute bridge. We're doing 2 sets, 10 repetitions per leg. Same thing as a regular glute bridge. We're going to be squeezing our glutes at the top. This time we're keeping the opposite leg elevated, still pushing through our heel, keeping our arms flat on the floor. Don't extend your back too much. Squeeze your glutes at the top. 10 repetitions on each leg, 2 sets. Our final exercise will be the side bridge. We're going to do 20 reps on each side. To do the side bridge, you're going to be laying on your side, elevated with your elbow. You're going to be sending the side of your hips towards the ceiling. Try to keep your knees together. I kind of failed to. We're going to be doing 20 repetitions each side. Keep our back straight. Finally, we're in our cool down segment. We're going to be doing a standing arm across with 2 minutes each arm. To do the standing arm across, so standing up nice and tall, choose your arm of choice. You're going to be pulling the arm away, kind of like you're pulling it out of the socket, but gently though, of the elbow or on the back of the tricep. If you start to feel a little bit of pain, don't pull as hard. Next cool down exercise will be the seated butterfly. We're going to be doing it for a total of 4 minutes. We're going to be doing it for a total of 4 minutes. To do the seated butterfly, we're going to be we'll make a butterfly, put our feet together, back straight, looking straight ahead. We don't want to look down and put our neck into flexion. And we are going to be trying to lower our knees to the ground, feeling our feet together. A way to make this exercise more challenging, as you'll see later in the video, I take my elbows and I press against my knees to create a better stretch. Total of 4 minutes. Our last stretch is going to be the prone cobra stretch. We're going to do 2 sets, 1 minute each. To do the prone cobra, first we'll set up in the prone position, keeping your elbows tucked close towards you. We're actually going to push off like we're wanting to push off the floor, putting our back into extension, and you will feel a nice good stretch as your back goes into extension. You can squeeze your glutes for this exercise as well to keep all your lower extremities on the floor. Feel a nice good stretch. Remember to breathe. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this exercise assignment. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Excellent work.